I'm DrTranquility Lydia, and I am a psychotherapist, hypnotic anesthesiologist. I practice mind-body medicine from Harvard and botanical meds from Columbia University in New York. I'm so happy that you all can be with us. I don't have glasses on, so it's just a big blur. So I hope everyone is clear. I'm just honored. It's amazing the people that have joined on for this charity event. Now, we are raising funds for women who are either battling or who are exiting newly, which can be just as tough and just as deadly, domestic violence. We are working for women who want to get back on their feet, and we are working for against human trafficking. So we are going to keep doing these, and I'm editing each video. I finally broke down and I have a professional editor. And then we're going to run this. Yeah, I gave up. And then we're going to run the series again, just from the site so people can join in. And Shanthi is representing a specific new organization. Shanthi, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us which organization?
Sure. So my name is Shanthi Blanchard. I'm an entrepreneur. The name of my company is called Spinster. We help female founders grow and scale across marketing, biz dev, and fundraising. The name of the organization that we're supporting is called Gareden of Hope. They are an organization based in Flushing, Queens, that deals primarily with Chinese, but also the larger Asian immigrant population that comes to New York and faces instances of domestic violence, sexual assaults, or human trafficking. Human trafficking is actually one of the biggest concerns. It's very it's a growing problem, especially within Flushing itself and within the Chinese immigrant community. They're the only nonprofit in New York City that makes sure that every single client that they serve has somebody in their native language, in their native dialect that they can speak to on staff to make sure that everybody is getting served and is getting the support that they need. So they are doing amazing work. And yeah, definitely if you have a chance and it's within your constraints and budgets, definitely please donate to them.
Great. And Shanthi, tell us a little bit about your background also.
Sure. So my background is a little bit of a dual nature. Academically, my background is in gender and politics. And professionally, my background is in marketing, which is kind of the synthesis of Spinster and why we really focus on helping women entrepreneurs specifically with things like marketing, development, and fundraising. We use a lot of, I would say, progressively forward techniques in terms of how we use with our clients, the type of culture that we try to create, and how we also try to help them create cultures within their own companies as well, in terms of intuitive leadership, really kind of finding people that you actually want to work with. Yeah, a lot of it comes down to intuition. So we kind of work within that framework when working with our clients as well.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Does amazing work. We're very honored to have her. She plays it off like she's very low key, like the girl next door, but she's actually a fundraiser. Financier for women in business. Powerful. So raising millions. So, we're just so honored and blessed that you're here, that you're donating and joining. And hello, sister.
Hello, beautiful. She's so amazing. Yep.
So Jodi, my love, Jodi and I have been friends for goodness, like about 10 years.
Yeah, a little while. Yeah.
And Jodi is an Indigenous healer and does all sorts of amazing things. Will you introduce yourself and tell us about you.
Yeah, for sure. So I am Jodi Powell, and I'm originally from New Zealand. I am an Indigenous healer. My roots are from at Western Samoa. So basically what I do is I teach, mentor, and work with clients, introducing them to Indigenous modalities, and I meet some amazing people along the way with my work. And so my business is Tribal Mind, and also I'm the founder of LifeGrid community, LifeGrid magazine.
Yes.
So through those two, Tribal Mind is a new project, but with LifeGrid magazine, I get to meet so many different people that have shared their story, they've shared their journey, and they've looked at all facets of it. And I think some of the amazing articles and stories that have come through, it's not just, I suppose, a sharing from their personal view of where they are in their life, but it also helps people who are reading connecting to their stories. It's been able to reflect and look at, how do we travel, how do we get to where we are today. So yes, that's me.
Amazing. So I'm listening. We're still trying to get Madame Exquiss.
Oh, exciting. Yeah.
Because embodiment and manifestation is such a powerful topic.
Oh, yes.
Love having Shanthi here. She's amazing. But you, Jodi, and Madame Exquiss are healers who manifest, create. So I wanted the two of each other to work off of. But I think she's apologizing, but she's really trying to get in. And the system isn't letting her in. So we have to go ahead, and I'll take my energy. She'll come on with us next week. We've been blessed to have another meeting added on next week. And next week's is Finding Happiness and Health, or Health and Happiness.
Wow.
But Finding Happiness is a book by Dr. Lori Nadell, and she's going to be on with us next week. So, and you're both welcome, of course, but she's going to be leading that meeting. So it'll be taking us into some healthy, fun aspects. So this is where my creativity as a host comes in. I'm gonna ask the questions, and we're going to start with new ones. So tell me, Jodi, how is it to be in business and integrate your healing methodologies into a business model that is financially beneficial?
I think where my work comes into play is, I think for people, we are very complex, and the Aboriginals in Australia, they use the term storyline to explain life. And so one of the things that I love to do, whether I'm working with a person one-on-one, or I'm working with a couple, I'm working with a family, a business, is to actually really look at the start of that storyline. So how did everything come about? How did you start off? And then look at the experiences which have occurred, and then where they are right now. So a lot of people, of course, they come to see me when things are not flowing. They're not making sense. They're looking at their story and saying, how did I end up on this page? And sometimes what we have to do, whether it's personally, whether it's professionally, whether it's looking at our role in community, is to actually give permission to have a moment of pause, to really take that moment of pause and being able to review, to reflect, And so with the Indigenous models that I use, which are predominantly from New Zealand, from the Polynesian Islands, from Australia, from the Aboriginals here, some of their models, we are able to use those models to help that individual to look at things in a clearer perspective. So whether it's we're looking at the health of the situation, we're looking at the well-being, we're looking at this, what we call the spirit. The word spirit's an interesting word these days, because everyone has a different view on it. But for Polynesians, for the word spirit is basically your life force, your breath, your ability to exist, your ability to be present in the moment. So it's really working with people at that level, and then of course allowing them to share. And when people share through conversations, so whether we're talking, whether we're sitting in nature, whether we're writing information down, they get to actually release energy and then decide whether they would like to bring that back into their system. So yes,
that's amazing. So I guess it's a lot like a meditation or an hypnosis, actually, a hypnotherapy with a more spiritual bent. More the hypnotherapy process, it sounds like, in terms of relating to spirit.
Yes.
And the spirituality within. How do you find then, because I know wearing double hats, I'm sure Shanthi feel it too, because she's, if you know it or not, but you're very spiritual. It just oozes out of you, even though you're working in finance. It's amazing. She has this beautiful presence. So Jodi, how do you create the business model that works, doing, you're kind of changing hats? How do you find that space and to be authentic in it?
To be authentic in it. I think it's understanding that sometimes in business, it's about being present. Being present meaning, what are you contributing? What are you offering the world? What services are you providing? What information are you basically integrating into whatever is in front of you at that time? So there's that aspect, right?
Yeah.
And then of course, when we're in that process, we can then, that's knowing what your embodiment is. And then of course, it's the process of manifestation, where when we know, when we are present, when we are living, we can then of course manifest. And that is of course your intention, and being able to receive from what you contribute. So for me, I think any project that I'm involved in, that's a really important mindset to have, because of course the conversations you have with people, with organisations, if you're working on the same level, you're talking the same talk, you understand that language, then basically the rest is left to nature to do its work.
Right.
And then we create partnerships. It's similar to what we've done in the past, where we have shared stories. We've had people that we're connected to have said, hey, I think this story, I know this story, and I think would be really, really good to share. And we will pick up on that, and we will do that. We'll collaborate. So I think that's where business comes in.
Yeah. And it's also a modeling and mirroring sort of it.
Yes.
But a modeling and mirroring of the people you come in contact with in business and finding that sweet spot where
Yes.
you live
Yeah, absolutely.
space. I think really helps a lot. Shanthi, so how do you find it? Because you work primarily with women, at least in terms of, and women are spiritual by nature and ooze it in every breath. So how do you find, coming from the finance, that sweet spot in the integration of space between you and your client, you know, that creation of growth spot?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's actually a really interesting question, because I would say the difference between women that I have worked with in corporate, and this is kind of a large statement, and women that I've worked with within the realm of startups, is that I think there is more space to bring who you are fully when you're working in a startup.
Yeah.
Especially when you are a founder, because you are creating the culture for your company. So that alone brings down a lot of barriers. I think where we come in is we always, obviously there's the tactical stuff of what we're trying to do to build somebody's company, but there's also the psychology behind it as well. This is somebody's baby. Like, they are literally putting in, their retirement and their savings often to get this company started. And they might be putting off other to get this company started. So we really try to make sure that we understand the entire kind of complexity of their life. What are their goals outside of just building a company? What do they want their days to look like? When we started talking, we were talking about, are we morning people or evening people? These are all really important questions in terms of figuring out how do they work best, and how can we best support them to make sure that not only are their businesses growing, they're growing as people in the direction that they want to. Because I think a lot of women are not building companies just because they want to be the next unicorn or just because they want to be rich. They're doing this because the corporate system doesn't work for them. The traditional business model doesn't work for them. I don't want to say it's a masculine model, because I don't actually think it works for a lot of men either. But I think women intuitively more feminine, and driving themselves into entrepreneurship for that. So our kind of job is not only to help make sure that their businesses grow, but also to make sure that we are kind of helping them embrace that intuitive nature that brought them into startups, and use that as a guide to direct their growth overall in their lives.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm just going to ask anyone viewing now or who will be viewing later to take your hand. We're going to do a little trick. Take your hand and put it across your forehead, and put the other one behind your head and just kind of cradle it. And I want you to see one thing that you'd like to manifest. Just one. See it in your mind's eye. You can close your eyes. You may keep them open. And as you see it, I want you to, you don't have to say it out loud, but you do have to mouth the words and say what this thing feels like. Tell me what it feels like. And smile as you say it, because I'm sure it feels good. Are you grateful? Is it joyous? Are you happy with it? Okay, and then tell me in description of 3 words, what does it look like? Is it an item? Does it have a color? What does it look like? And then feeling as you feel all the feelings that are attached to it, I want you to open your eyes if they're not open, and look to the left and look to the right. We're going to do this 10 times. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to keep thinking of it, keep feeling. 4, I'll count for you. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One for good measure. Okay. And you've locked it in. And that's something you can do for the next 30 days. And just, it's a great foundation tool. It's very empowering in that you feel as though you are present in what you're trying to create.
Beautiful.
So going forward, Jodi's sitting there giggling. So
That was beautiful.
Yes, thank you. Is there
Mm.
one thing that you would tell very quickly, because we're low on time, unfortunately, I spent a little too much time in the beginning. Is there one thing that you would want to tell? Well, you are a young woman, Shanthi, but a woman still in college, starting out in her career. Is there something you would tell her, or even your younger self, if you're looking back? What is something you would say to yourself that's positive and would help you go forward?
You're not wrong. And you don't need other people's validation to know that and to keep moving forward.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Jodi, what would you say?
To not look back. To not look back. To look forward. To not turn your head. Yeah.
Okay.
So I suppose for me it's to do with making sure that you are first, always first, in what you do.
Very good. Thank you. And I would say to believe in yourself. To most of us who come to the table, and whether we're striking out at any point during our adult lives, and even we started out in teens, and we often believe and feel that we're wrong for doing, and we're not. You're different. That's not wrong. Different is a good thing. So different very often is the thing that keeps you going. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to make money. It's okay to have green energy, right? Green money as you're working on spirit. All of these things are okay, and you're okay. That's the one thing I would say. And when I meditate, I try to, even as you're breathing in and out, I take it back to where I would be in my teens, and I bring her forward to the present, carrying all of those positive feelings and letting myself know that it's okay, and everyone around me, I hope. So, Shanthi, tell us where we can find you.
Sure. You can go to spinster.io to check out our work. You can always feel free to email me at Shanthi, SHANTHI, at spinster.io if you have any questions, or if you just want to chat.
Great. And you, my gorgeous pal, you're both gorgeous, but Jodi.
Yes. You can find me on you can find me at tribalmind.com.au or Jodi at tribalmind.
Yeah. And I am DrTranquility, Lydia. You can find me at Lydia with a Y, LYDIA, at DrTranquility, DrTranquility.com. You can also find me on the new DrTranquility, which is DOCTOR Tranquility.com. And as always, on the PR site, which is SatoriXPR.com. So I thank you everyone for joining tonight. And I hope that we had quite an eventful meeting. And I know Yulei really wanted to be here. She tried so hard. And she'll be back. She'll be back next week. So, but I want to thank you all for sharing, and I want to thank those of you watching and listening to please donate to these organizations. You will find all of the links up on the site. You'll even find Dress for Success for women who are getting going. And you'll find Garden of Hope, and you'll find Saving Jane, which is a fantastic new organization dedicated to human trafficking and combating it. They really get in there and get the girls. I mean, it's amazing. They're all just such great organizations. And there are some great charity sites online that are hubs for all sorts of organizations that you can join. And you can donate directly by link. If there's something that you care about, Google it and go. You know, if you don't want to join one of the ones we're providing you with, Google it and go and join. You'll find the links there. Every site, every organization has its own donation link, and you can go and donate.